Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be exploring a game with you that anyone who was around during the golden age of web games will probably find very familiar, and that is Wartune World. Does this mobile version manage to preserve the soul of the legendary web game from back then, or is it just a pale shadow of the original? Let's dive deep into the analysis right now. Before getting into the details, I want to talk a little bit about the platform where I'm experiencing this game, which is X7 Game. This is a game distribution platform that's definitely worth paying attention to because besides allowing me to download the game to my device, X7 Game also has cloud gaming technology, meaning you can start playing immediately without worrying about your device's storage space. In addition, X7 Game also offers an extremely attractive buyout model, allowing me to permanently purchase in-game benefits with a huge discount compared to the original price without having to worry about any monthly maintenance fees. The app also frequently has gift codes, so make sure to check every day. If you don't see any codes on a particular day, it may simply mean that the codes have expired, so make sure to keep checking regularly so you don't miss out on any offers. Now let's get back to Wartune World. First, I need to clarify something that may confuse some of you, and that is the name. If you search on the official stores, you'll see that this game is called Wartune Ultra, which is the official mobile version developed by the Seven Road team themselves, the same people who created the original Wartune web game, which later became known as Wartune Reborn. As for Wartune World, which I'm playing on X7 Game, it's actually another name used by this platform for distribution. And depending on the market, there may be other names as well. But essentially, this is still the mobile version of that classic web game, so don't worry, I'm talking about the same game here. In terms of gameplay, Wartune World brings an interesting combination of MMORPG and MMOArts. Right from the beginning, I'll take on the role of a lord and start building and managing my own city. Collecting resources, training troops, and developing infrastructure aren't just side activities, but are actually core parts of the gameplay loop that make the experience engaging. I feel motivated to keep exploring while also having to think strategically about how to allocate my resources properly. The biggest highlight that I want to talk about is the turn-based combat system. Battles take place on a vertical screen, where I arrange a team with 3 basic classes: warrior, archer, and mage, with each class having its own unique skills and characteristics. What I like about this system is that it doesn't require quick reflexes, but instead focuses more on strategy. Proper team positioning, timing your skills, and reacting flexibly to new situations are what determine victory, rather than simply relying on who has more power. When it comes to content, Wartune World is actually very rich. On the PvE side, I can participate in many activities such as personal quests, solo dungeons, and especially World Boss, which is one of the community activities I find most appealing because the rewards are quite huge for everyone who participates. Besides that, PvP is also well developed with arena and battleground modes where I can compete and fight for reputation. The guild system is also an essential part, as I can team up with other members to participate in guild war and contribute guild wealth together to upgrade guild skills. For those of you who play long-term and want to dive deeper, the game also has some pretty interesting endgame systems. Class advancement allows me to advance my character to a whole new level, unlocking additional skills and abilities after reaching the initial limit. Recently, I also noticed that a new devotion system has been added, allowing me to pledge allegiance to gods in order to receive powerful buffs. This is a fairly fresh direction that I think veteran players will enjoy exploring. Now, I'm going to be completely honest about the problems I encountered during my experience because I want this video to be truly objective rather than just full of praise. In terms of graphics, I have to admit that this isn't the game's strongest point. Some of the combat cutscenes look quite outdated, reminding me of the style of older console games. However, I still think the overall art design is pretty decent. It's just that the graphics technology hasn't received as much investment compared to other modern games. The biggest issue that I want to warn you about, especially if you're new, is the technical problems. During my playtime, I encountered lag and frame stuttering quite frequently, especially during battles with lots of effects. Sometimes the game would even freeze, preventing me from completing basic actions such as clicking to finish a quest after defeating monsters. I think the cause could come from both sides. One possibility is that the server is overloaded when there are too many players, while another could be related to the device specifications or browser I'm using. Crashes when launching the game are also something I've experienced, and I've seen many other players in the community reporting similar issues. If you encounter this situation, the way I usually deal with it is by uninstalling and reinstalling the game, or checking the integrity of the game files. Another point I want to be honest about is that the game's business model leans quite heavily toward pay to win. Although I can still play completely for free, competing in PvP or obtaining rare items almost inevitably requires financial investment. This is something you need to consider before deciding to stick with the game for the long term. In addition, because there are so many servers, I sometimes feel that the player population is spread too thin, making community activities like Guild War lack enough opponents to compete against, which can make the world feel a little empty. And of course, this is also quite a grindy game that requires me to invest a lot of time, especially during the early and mid-game stages. So, to sum everything up, I think Wartune World is a name worth trying, especially if you're a fan of the combination of city building and turn-based tactical combat. For new players, I recommend starting by completing the main quests to get familiar with the mechanics, recruiting some basic heroes, and participating in early game activities such as world boss or resource gathering to build a solid foundation. As for those of you who used to play the original web game, this is truly an opportunity to relive that nostalgic feeling. Even though it's not perfect, it's still enough to bring back many great memories. I recommend learning the strategies for Guild War carefully, optimizing your combat power, and investing in equipment upgrades after reaching level 50 so you can fully experience the depth that the game has to offer. If you're interested and want to try Wartune World, I'll leave the download link through X7 Game in the description below the video. Don't forget to check the app for gift codes every day so you don't miss any offers. And remember to pay attention to the extremely cost-effective buyout model that X7 Game is providing. Thank you all for watching my video until the end. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support me in making more quality review videos. See you all in the next videos.